Bradley Barcola, I feel like, is the obvious place for us to start this evening. Now, it isn't a here we go. It isn't the deal is done. But I do think, and I feel comfortable in saying it's further along than is being reported in the media. Again, without wanting to put my balls on the table to be smashed with a hammer, it feels very much like Friday could be an interesting day around the Barcola situation. At least that's a day that has been going around in Liverpool circles as being potentially a day to keep your diaries free, shall we say. So keep that in mind. But, I have been told things that I don't feel comfortable talking about yet because, of course, as always is the case, if I say something, most people will know I'm giving information, but other people will take it as a gospel that it has to happen that minute, and if it doesn't, we'll just be here to bombard me with crap. So I'll do my best to answer what I can as honestly as I can, and I'll give you what few bits we have and, of course, what we don't have. So on the Barcola thing, I think I'm confident in saying we're further along than the reports that are coming out in the media at the minute. I don't want to say it's a done deal, but it's pretty fucking close if it isn't a done deal. The numbers being mentioned, it will be nowhere upwards of 130, 140 million euro, nothing like that. I would be surprised if it ends up above 120 million euro all in. I'm not sure the exact makeup at this moment in time of an upfront versus add-ons. There's talk of 100 plus 15, there's talk of 105 plus 10, there's talk of 100 plus 20. So in that regard, I don't have a definitive for you, but lots of people that I've spoken with really do feel that this Barcola thing is a lot further along than we're hearing in the media or is being reported in the media. I'd seen something earlier on coming from the French side that said that Nasser Al-Khalifi is getting involved and this could drag all the way on late into the window. That certainly isn't the vibe behind the scenes in Liverpool media circles. That isn't what's being talked about. That isn't what's being projected out there. And I know a lot of journalists are just waiting on one or two extra bits of information before they come forward with it. And honestly, on this one, I'm going to sit back. I'm just going to sit back and let them do their thing because I don't want to be the one to break it. I don't want to be the one to go out there and put information because this thing moves along at a quick speed and I'm going to let a journalist break the story and I will tell you after the fact what we know. Now, our Discord is aware of the situation. We've been posted in there to let them guys know. But on this one, I don't really know where we are with Mbaye, and that's the honest answer. I've seen, same as you guys, lots of reports that Liverpool are interested. If you look at it, well, we'll talk about this in more detail in a little bit, but if you look at it, again, it could be a case of Leverkusen were closing in there and Liverpool maybe decided if we are going to strike, now is the time. Now, I haven't got definitives on that one, so I'm not going to be able to give you ins and outs of it, but it's certainly a realistic option for Liverpool. And you'd have to imagine, and again, this is just common sense speak, you would have to imagine that if Liverpool moved for Barcola and Ibrahim Mbaye, it would have to see Cody Gakpo or somebody leave for a couple of reasons. There's the financials that we've spoken about before, and then there's the other bits and pieces around just places in the squad. If you look at Mbaye, he operates more off the right-hand side, although he can operate off either side. So if both of them come in, you'd have to imagine that Barcola would then operate off the left as more familiar position. And on the right-hand side then, maybe we see Rio shift across, maybe Munoz there, although he initially prefers off the left. So there's lots that we can talk about tonight, and I can give you vague information if you want, but I don't feel comfortable yet in just nailing my colours to the mast because, like I said, there's a lot of journalists and a lot of groundwork on this, and it's their place to come out and say when they think it's done. Right, Russian Honey Badger said, Craig, who do you think is better? Who's this one? Sorry, it's just Rayan or Mbaye. Who will feel Iriola better and who's ready to step up and be the right winger? Also, I'm happy you're back. I mean, I don't know as much about Mbaye, to be honest, as I would about Rayan. As in, I haven't watched them all that much. I know that he's the youngest African player ever to score in a World Cup. I think he scored, if my memory's right, the consolation goal for Senegal when they were beaten 3-1 by France. If I remember correctly, it was him that scored that. And there have been concerns, shall we say, written about publicly with regards to attitude stuff and things like that. But I honestly don't know. I don't know what the kid is like. I don't know what his family is like. But I do know the interest is sincere. And which one is better? I don't know. Yeah, like that's the honest answer is I don't know. Like I'd be very comfortable with Rayan for obvious reasons. He is a right-sided player that operates in off his left foot, whereas with Mbai, he prefers to operate on the right but is right-footed. So yeah, look, I guess either one for me would be a good signing, but I couldn't tell you which one is the better fit for Iraola's system because I don't know enough about Mbai. Right. Jordan said, Craig, if I'm being honest, I think we need a right winger, a backup winger, a left back, a right back, and a centre back, and a midfielder. It's madness. So I think with regards to the midfield, I'm not sure what happens there, but if it does happen, I think it's going to be later in the window. Like, we all need to know what's happening with Curtis Jones. And my reading of that situation, although, again, it's not finished, it's not finalised, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't end up at Inter Milan at this point because, again, there's no real indication that Liverpool and Curtis are getting close to any conversation about him staying. You'd have to imagine that Liverpool wouldn't be stupid enough to let him go for nothing next year. And if you're really going to fall out with Inter over 5 million quid, it just feels silly. So I think that one probably happens. But with regards to incomings, when I've spoken to people, they don't really have concrete names. They have ideas and theories, and perhaps like Kamara is a name that keeps coming up when I talk to people. But honestly, I don't know, is the honest answer on that one. And we'll talk about the defensive situation a little bit, because again, I'm going to defer to the journalists who've been talking about this that would have far more informed information around the defensive side than I do. Right, let's keep going. Tamori, hopefully as well. Hope you're doing well. So on that one, Tony, I haven't been told anything that would suggest that interest has progressed at this point. Again, not saying it isn't going to happen. I'm just saying I don't know anything to suggest that Liverpool have even pushed ahead with the idea of Tamori at this point. Josh Achampong's name is one that is always been mentioned, but I don't think we're going to get much joy at Chelsea initially if we knock on the door for him. But he is somebody that Liverpool have been looking after the last couple of seasons, and when he renewed at Chelsea, we looked at as well. Yeah, so like I said, I did get to talk to a lot of people yesterday. We're having a full day off, and it definitely gave me a better understanding of the direction we could be going in. Eddie said, do you think we get both of them? I mean, it would be absolute guesswork to say if I think we get both of them or not. It's possible, but you would have to imagine, you know, the cost for Mbai isn't necessarily huge. You're looking at somewhere, according to reports, between 40 and 50 million euro. So it's not a huge outlay, but it's still a significant one. And you'd have to think, if you're looking around then at the options that we have, I'd be very, very surprised if we don't see somebody move on at that point. So Barcola, as I said, I'm very, very comfortable to say that's really close. And it's a lot closer than has been talked about in the media. As I've been saying to you guys for a few days, they are working on the finer details of that. And look, I've been told a number and I've been told something else, but I'm not comfortable saying it yet because it's a big call to make. So I'm going to sit back, like I said, let this one unfold,